Launch of the 40th anniversary of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. My name is Alicia Ali. This is truly an auspicious occasion as we celebrate 40 years of regional integration in 2021. In the spirit of integration, I would just like to say, bienvenue à tous, bienvenido a todos, bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue. I would like to recognize the presence of the chairperson of the Oecs Authority, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Premier of Anguilla, Honorable Dr. Ellis Webster, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Honorable Gaston Brown, Premier of the British Virgin Islands, Honorable Andrew Foy, Prime Minister of Grenada, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, President of the Regional Council of Guadeloupe, Honorable Ari Chalus, President of the Executive Council of Martinique, Honorable Alfred Marie-Jean, Premier of Montserrat, Honorable Easton Taylor Farrell, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Honorable Alan Chasney, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. the Honorable Ralph Gonzalez, Dr. Didicus Jules, the Director General of the Oecs, staff of the Oecs Commission, our media partners in the region who are linking the Oecs and reaching the world, Antigua and Barbuda Broadcasting Service, the Government Information Service of Dominica, the Government Information Service of Grenada, the Government Information Unit in Montserrat, the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service, the Government Information Service St. Lucia, where we are currently broadcasting from, and the Agency for Public Information in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. People of the Oecs, welcome. Our viewing public online can head on over to the Oecs Facebook page to place questions and comments. Dr. Jules is in studio with us and will be answering those questions a little bit later in our program. Drop your flag in the comment section so we know that you're here. At this time, the chairman of the Oecs Authority, the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, has a special message for the people of the Oecs.
Greetings, sisters and brothers of our Oecs family. The breakup of the West Indies Federation in 1962 and the fracture of the dreams of Caribbean people did not mark an end to our aspiration, but the beginning of a new ambition. In his Agony of the Little Eight, written in 1965, Sir William Arthur Lewis called for an economic and political union of the Little Eight, namely Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Emerging from the cloud of disappointment that shrouded the optimism of regional will was the movement in 1967 from colonial status to incipient statehood in the configuration of the West Indies Associated States. In that year, 1967, the embers of regional unity were kindled in the establishment of a supporting architecture. A West Indies Associated State Supreme Court, which ultimately evolved into the Eastern Caribbean Court of Appeal, and subsequently the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court in 1981. The defunct currency of the Federation, the British West Indies dollar, was resurrected in 1965 as the Eastern Caribbean dollar through the Eastern Caribbean Currency Authority, which subsequently found its sovereign identity in the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. The ignition of this flame led us on a progressive, systematic path of designing this union and the transformation of the journey of the Eight to what we now celebrate today as the solidarity of the 11. It was this journey that led us to the milestone. This 40th year is a historical marker on a road of increasing convergence, greater anticipation, and unyielding possibility. Notwithstanding the bad weather through which we have had to journey, there have been bursts of sunshine. Notwithstanding the pain we have endured, we have also enjoyed the blessings of rain. And we have reached this milestone for one simple reason. We have always focused on the things that unite us rather than the things that divide us. Every time we hold hands tighter, encircling the elements of unity, we strike a blow against the shackles of disunity. Our darkest moments have been illuminated by light and that spirit of unity. As Prime Minister of Dominica, I can attest to the sense of support, the infusion of courage, and the reinforcement of hope that I experienced in spite of the physical and emotional destruction of literally everything around me by Hurricane Maria. In the midst of Dominica's nakedness was a covering cloak of Oecs solidarity. Equally, Prime Minister Keith Mitchell of Grenada can tell the same tale of how the devastation and destruction of Hurricane Ivan was dispelled by that same spirit of solidarity and the assurance that it would be all right in the morning. What have been some of our most spectacular achievements of the past 40 years, one may ask? The Eastern Caribbean dollar, which for the last 37 years has maintained a fixed and immutable exchange rate with the US dollar and is now the strongest and most stable currency in the Caribbean. The freedom of movement of people that allows the citizens of member states to travel without hindrance or restriction to work, to play, to study, to visit friends, or to relocate, to follow carnival, or to follow a crusade. With those rights came contingent rights that empower our families to relocate with us and enable our children to attend schools and to obtain scholarships. As we traveled this road in the last 40 years, new members of the family have joined in this journey. First came the British Virgin Islands and Anguilla, joining their sister Montserrat, which was there from inception. Then came our sister Martinique, followed by Guadeloupe, adding new cultural and linguistic texture to the character of our community. The Oecs Pharmaceutical Procurement Service has over the past 40 years transacted almost $1 billion worth of medicines and essential medical supplies to our health system, saving in the process $5 million annually, and has now moved since the pandemic from a pharmaceutical procurement service to a pooled procurement service. In this 40th year, although the road may be steeper, although the pain may cut deeper, and although the clouds may appear darker, we move forward with the conviction, as we say in Creole, en la route nous n'y espoir. In the road lies hope. In every difficulty lies an opportunity. In our pain lies redemption. We have no choice but to keep going forward, because life does not move backward. And if we must go forward, we must do so in unity, more determined and more convinced of the veracity of our vision. Notwithstanding the pain and the pressure of the pandemic, we will be celebrating this 40th anniversary with pride, but not with pomp. Our celebrations will be frugal, but fulsome, as we look back with gratitude to what we have accomplished by the grace of God and through the foresight of our forefathers. We must look forward with determination and optimism. Onward with integration for progress and sustainability. Happy anniversary to us all. May God continue to bless our sister nations of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. I thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Prime Minister Skerrit spoke about our journey as an OECS and our solidarity as a region, our unity which has allowed us to reach this 40th milestone. He listed some of our achievements. Our next video lists a few more. It started as an idea, a dream, a hope for a visionary revolution of islands along the turquoise archipelago of the Caribbean. 40 years later, where are we? An economic union, a common currency, a common judicial system, a telecommunications regulatory body, harmonized policies across major areas, finance, education, health, tourism, trade, agriculture, climate change, and more. Governance cooperation. We are a force for change for our people and our region. 40 years marks a celebration of the realization of a dream. Different islands, different cultures, different languages. One community growing together. It is certainly a proud moment for every single citizen of the OECS region. We have come a long way in 40 years, but there is still work that needs to be done. This is the time to assess our journey and look ahead to a future filled with possibilities. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Director General of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Dr. Didicus Jules.
Chairperson of the OECS Authority, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Premier of Anguilla, Dr. Ellis Webster, Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Gaston Brown, Premier of the British Virgin Islands, Honorable Andrew Foy, Prime Minister of Grenada, the Right Honorable Dr. Keith Mitchell, President of the Regional Council of Guadeloupe, the Honorable Ari Chalous, President of the Executive Council of Martinique, the Honorable Alfred Marijan, Premier of Montserrat, the Honorable Easton Farrell Taylor Farrell, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, the Honorable Alan Chasney, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, staff of the OECS Commission, members of the Network of Government Information Services of the OECS, citizens of the OECS Friends Online. It has been repeatedly claimed that the pen is mightier than the sword. And the truth of this is debatable, because while empires have been forged by steel and have been maintained by the sword, they have also fallen by the sword. The pen, for its part, has shaped mentalities that have far outlived empires. It has authored ideologies that have created fictions of difference on the pretext of geography, race, class, gender, that has influenced many tribes to which we belong, and have erased our elemental belonging to the human race. But the pen has also lifted our gaze above those limiting categories to see beyond ourselves. It has found expression in the holy books of humanity and has established notions of divinity that lie beyond the hubris of man. In our own geography, the pen has also etched the scroll of our history in the treaties of warring empires that have divided our archipelago, to the bills of sale that have transacted the greatest commodification and sale of people in the human experience, right up to contemporary times. In our time, we have sought to be the authors of our destiny, and we have wielded the pen to express our ambition. And so it came to be that with a simple flourish of the pen, on the 18th of June 1981 in Basse-Terre, in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, the people of vision brought into being the Oecs. And today, 40 years later, the word has assumed substantial flesh. Our celebration of the 40th anniversary of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States will involve not just looking back at the road already traveled, but importantly, also looking forward to the road ahead. In doing this, we will be acknowledging the incalculable contributions of the many who walked before us and the significant accomplishments on this journey to regional integration laid out in the revised Treaty of Basse-Terre. It is also an opportunity for us to directly engage the citizen in the street on how the Oecs has impacted their lives and circumstance. It is an opportunity for us to listen to their expectations and their ambitions for a future that has been rendered so uncertain by a chain of crises and challenges, from climate change to disasters to the pandemic and the multi-sectoral havoc. But equally, it is a chance for us to look beyond these storms, to see the possibilities for speeding up our march to a closer, better integration that works for all of us. As we enter this period of celebration and reflection, let us be guided by the Kero Apache prayer. Looking back, I am filled with gratitude. Looking forward, I am filled with vision. Looking inward, I am filled with strength. And looking within, I am filled with peace. May gratitude, vision, strength, and peace pervade our spirit and fortify our will in the next 40 years.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jules. What a juncture. At this time, I think it's just apropos that we now introduce the Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Governor Timothy Antoine.
On behalf of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, I am delighted to extend heartiest congratulations to the Oecs Commission on the attainment of its 40th anniversary of service to the people of our region. 40 years of service, solidarity, close community, and functional cooperation for the immense benefit of the people of the Oecs. Today, I pay special tribute to the founders and framers of the idea that is the Oecs. At this juncture, the Oecs Commission and the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank enjoy excellent relations. Our most recent collaboration was in supporting the vaccine rollout in our member countries. So, on behalf of Team ECCB and on my own behalf, I extend again heartiest congratulations and wish you every success for your next 40 years and beyond. May you scale even higher heights in service to the people of the Oecs.
Thank you, Governor Antoine, and it is my great pleasure at this time to unveil the 40th anniversary logo of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. This is our official logo for our celebrations in 2021. Onward with integration for progress and sustainability. Now that we've unveiled our anniversary logo and our theme, let's move to our calendar of events. And on our calendar of events, we can see that on the 13th of June, there will be a Thanksgiving service. We also have extensive OECS public sector consultations throughout April to June. In May, we will be launching a resource booklet for teachers called Building Together, a guide to regional integration in the OECS. In June and July, we will be hosting a webinar series to support micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the OECS Economic Union. June is certainly shaping up to be an exciting month. Here we'll have our first OECS Youth Assembly, a development partner symposium, our OECS Community Support Initiative, the OECS Commission Staff Awards, and the virtual premiere of our theatre production, OECS For Me.
I never knew we can travel in the OECS Economic Union with any government ID. Cox coming.
The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, in celebration of their 40th anniversary presents OECS For Me, a special check and pledge production.
I got all your shopping. You have your lamb leg, you have your steak, you have salmon, and your caviar. But I forgot the bread. Here's $500 to buy your bread, Iglesia. But I am traveling tomorrow for a meeting in Antigua.
I knew this. You're not going to Antigua without me. I am going by sea calling to get some suitcases.
In your dreams, I am checking your passport.
Saturday, June 12th at 7 p.m. on the OECS YouTube channel.
I love Antigua. Antigua has good food.
And Sunday, June 13th at 3 p.m. on the OECS Facebook page.
Can my partner and I share a table with you?
Sure.
This production is co-funded by the 11th European Development Fund Regional Integration through Growth Harmonization and Technology Right Project.
And because we are an organization that walks the walk, we certainly have to say, Prepare famille nou ek jan pour ne a bottom.
Mate même saboute ça aller à ces pays OECS qui c'est membre l'union économique là avec n'importe ID gouvernement. Cox Cavini.
Organisation ces pays OECS là en célébration 40e anniversaire qu'a présenté en production spéciale par Check and Pêche. OECS là pour moi.
Moi acheté tout ça ou te vle. On est viande mouton, viande bœuf, poisson, jusqu'à caviar. Mais m'oublié pain. Mais mis $500 pour gagner pain. Mais n'a voyagé demain on savent. Moi ka aller Antigua.
Moi savent ça. Ou pas qu'une pièce antique ça moi. Naiko si Colin achète 2-3 suitcases.
Ouais, ça. N'a pris passeport.
Samedi 5 juin à 7h soir à ce channel YouTube OECS là.
Ouais, mais Antigua, yon belle manger ici.
Et puis dimanche 6 juin à 3h après-midi à ce page Facebook OECS là.
Moi que j'aime ça à site Botabou.
Pas de problème.
Projet ça financé par Projet Technologie Régionale Kawaïdla en 11e Fonds de Développement Union Européen Right Project.
Grab your friends, grab your family, and grab your popcorn. You certainly don't want to miss that production. So we've been seeing you dropping your flags in our comment section of our OECS Facebook page. And right now we're going to take your comments and your questions. So as I said, we do have the Director General of the OECS, Dr. Didkas Jules, in studio with us. And so one of the first questions that we have is quite a weighty question. Regional bodies have a history of failure in the Caribbean, like the West Indies Federation. What makes you confident, Dr. Jules, that the OECS will succeed?
Thank you for the question. Put very simply, I think we are going to succeed because we have been successful to date. And I know that success in the past does not guarantee success in the future. So what are the ingredients that will ensure that we succeed in the future? Importantly, our heads of government need to maintain a very strong solidarity among themselves. And we've seen this happen every time we have faced a crisis. Our heads have rallied. From the hurricanes to the pandemic, we've seen that solidarity being expressed. Most recently, that was expressed. Our head of chairman of the OECS, Prime Minister Skerrit, and the other head set a good example in sharing of vaccines across the region. So there are expressions of that. The second critical thing is our ability as an organization, as an integrated movement, to listen to the voices of the people in the street. It is very important that the OECS communications involve not just sending messages out, but listening to the voices, and not just listening in events like this, but also having structured mechanisms for getting feedback, for receiving queries, for soliciting suggestions and recommendations. And right now we have over 40 virtual working groups involving persons in the private sector, civil society, in government ministries across different portfolios and sectors, engaging in discussions on different aspects of regional integration and actively involved in shaping those solutions. The third thing, now that COVID has hit and we are in what is called the new normal, is the need for us to embrace that digital future. And the OECS is involved right now in a project involving major partners like the World Bank for digital transformation that is going to put all of these processes I've described in the hands of the ordinary citizen. And just some quick examples. We are looking, for example, at shaping an app, a consumer rights app that would be available on everyone's cell phone, having the ability to search for what are the price control prices for any necessary household item. If you go into the supermarket and there's a problem with the pricing, you can take a picture of that and then it will instantly be flowing to the relevant authorities, so that the empowerment of citizens through digital transformation is going to be a major thrust going forward. Equally in education, we have a project with UNICEF and a number of agencies called the GIGA project that is aimed at ensuring that we put broadband in every school. But since COVID has hit, the locus of learning has moved from the school to the home. So now we have to look at ubiquitous broadband in the homes at affordable prices, broadband as a public good that will ensure that our children do not miss out on learning in this period.
Thank you, Dr. Jules. Don't go too far. We actually do have a two-part question following up from what you just said. You spoke about some of the major plans going forward for regional integration in different spheres into the agenda of the OECS. So we want to know, how does young people fit into this agenda, not just as beneficiaries, but as active participants?
Yes. Again, we have already started that process of engaging young people. We have developed a strategy called OECS Yes for Youth Empowered Society. And this process, the tagline of which and the reality of which is that it is by young people for young people. One of the problems with youth work in the Caribbean historically is that youth strategies and youth initiatives have always been designed by older people for young people. And the young people are the recipients of those initiatives. In this case, what we pilot, and we did a pilot on this to test the value of that approach. In this case, what is happening is that the youth initiative is being designed by young people and being run by young people. We have one young person heading the youth department in the OECS, but it is a department of one. Notwithstanding that, it is now the largest department in the OECS because we have over 100 young people across the OECS region involved actively in our work. There's an OECS Youth Advisory Group, Advisory Council, that is headed, the honorary chair of which is Minister Kate Lewis of Grenada, and Nias Alfred, who's our youth officer, guiding that division. That committee. And they have been planning the work that is being done. The young people in the advisory group have divided into several subgroupings, several subcommittees that are working on a range of things. We are following essentially the pillars of the OECS strategy, which is yes, I learn, learning, education and training. Yes, I earn, entrepreneurship and employment. Yes, I belong, citizenship. Yes, I express creativity and culture. Yes, I move, healthy lifestyles and sports. Yes, I matter, which is children rights and child protection, youth rights and child protection. And in each of these pillars, the design of what needs to be done is being fueled by the ambition expressed by young people. So they are actively involved, and you can go on our website and look for, just use a search term for youth, or yes, OECS yes, and you will see all of the initiatives that are being undertaken.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jules, and thank you to everyone who has made this launch possible, especially to our viewing public across the Eastern Caribbean. Remember to follow us on our social media platforms. We have Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. We are moving onward with integration for progress and sustainability. Merci de votre participation. Gracias por ver. Merci en pile pour garder. Until next time, I am Alicia Ali, reminding you that we are one community growing together.